Nina was a young woman working the late night shift at the hospital in a small town. She often had to drive back home late at night. Her route took her down a long, lonely highway bordered by thick, dense forest. On this particular night, the sky was overcast, the air thick with mist, and a heavy silence blanketed the road. There was no other cars inside, just the soft hum of her engine cutting through the eerie quiet. As she drove, Nina noticed something odd in her rearview mirror. She thought she saw a dark shape flicker in the back seat, but when she glanced over her shoulder, there was nothing there. Brushing it off as a trick of light, she continued to drive, her hands gripping on the wheel a little tighter. Minutes passed. The feeling that she wasn't alone in the car wouldn't go away. She kept shaking the mirror to see if perhaps there is someone or something sitting there, watching her. Her pulse quickened as she convinced herself it was just her imagination. But then, the car suddenly grew colder, and she could see her breath fogging up, even though it's summer. Her heart pounding, Ina turned the music up and hoping that it will drown out her anxiety. But then she felt it, a slight pressure on her shoulder, almost like a hand. She gasped and looked at her right, expecting to see someone beside her, but the seat was empty. She started to pull over, too afraid to keep driving, but just as she slowed, the pressure lifted and the car warmed up again. Taking a deep breath, she told herself to keep driving. She was just tired, she thought. Probably imagined things. But as she pulled back onto the road, she caught sight of something in the mirror. A pair of dark eyes staring at her from the back seat. Swerving slightly, Nina forced herself to keep looking forward on the road, trying to ignore the figure in her mirror. But the eyes stayed locked onto her, filled with sadness and a sense of longing that sent chills down her spine. She kept her gaze fixed on the road, refusing to look at the mirror again. But as the silence settled, she began to hear a faint whisper, like someone speaking from a very great distance. The voice was barely audible. It sobbed and cracked, but she could make out a single, pleading phrase, repeated over and over. Please, don't leave me. The voice was filled with sorrow, as if somebody is desperate. It pulled her heart despite her fear. She tried to ignore it, but the word grew louder, louder, and louder. Her hand shook as she gripped the steering wheel, not daring to glance back. But the whisper continued, growing until it filled the car, echoing off every surface. She let out a scream, begging the voice to stop and leave her alone. And just like that, the voice suddenly fell silent, leaving an overwhelming emptiness in the place. Determined to escape whatever was haunting her, Nina took the first exit off the highway, spotting an old gas station with a flickering neon sign. She pulled in and stumbled out of the car, gasping for breath. The station was dimly lit, and appeared deserted, but the sight of it felt like a sanctuary. As she approached the station, an elderly man emerged from the shadows. His face had some worries on it. "Are you alright, miss?" he asked, eyeing her with concern. Nina hesitated, unsure how to explain what just has happened. "I think there was someone in my car," she finally whispered, glancing back at the vehicle. The back seat appeared to be empty now, and the car was still. The old man's face darkened. "You took Highway 47, didn't you?" Nina nodded, confused. The man sighed, looking down. "Ah, you're not the first to see her. They say that the spirit of a young woman who is left there by someone she trusts. She wandered the highway searching for a way home, hoping for someone to help her or stay with her." Nina felt chill crawl up her spine as the man continued. "Most people that can see her don't stop, and she just followed them until they finally out of the road. But some say if you try to leave her again, she'll make sure that you don't." Nina stared back at her car, her mind racing. She wanted to leave, to get as far away from the Highway 47 as possible. But the old man's warning echoed in her mind. If she left her passenger behind again, there might be no escaping for her. Reluctantly, she walked back to the car, her heart pounding as she opened the door. She slid into the driver's seat and sat there, breathing deeply, feeling the weight of something watching her. She gripped the steering wheel, whispered softly, "All right, I will take you to wherever you want to go. Just please show me the way and don't scare me." A stain calm settled over the car, and as she drove back onto the highway, the air grew warm again, the scent of dread lifting. She felt a presence beside her, but it came with a strange comfort that told her that she was okay. As the dawn began to break, she found herself approaching a small, overgrown cemetery on the side of the road. She felt compelled to stop, her eye drawn to a lone grave at the end of the lot, almost hidden by the weeds. Nina parked her car there and walked over, reading the wilder headstone, "Amara, forever waiting." She felt a surge of sadness, a longing that wasn't for her own, and she knew she found her passenger's final resting place. She stood there for a moment, a silent farewell passing between her and the unseen spirit. As she returned to her car, she felt lighter, the weight of the haunting present lifted. She drove away, knowing she would never forget about the lonely spirit that she had helped guide home. But sometime, late at night, when she took the road 47, she still felt a gentle hand on her shoulder, as if her silent passenger is sitting next to her, thanking her and watching over her while she is driving at night alone.